Peace, everybody. Welcome to Capital Combat. The name says it all. I'm Hakeem Branch.
Rob Jarrell.
And today we're going to be talking about this Saturday's heavyweight boxing rematch that now that Tyson Fury has retired is for the heavyweight championship of the world. We got Alexander Usyk, the unified holder, against Anthony Joshua, the former unified title holder, going down to Saudi Arabia on the East Coast. Starts at 5 p.m. Take that back however many hours you need to if you're not on the East Coast. But that's what we got. Get us off. Get it started, Rob.
Okay, so this is a very highly anticipated rematch between the former heavyweight champion from Great Britain and Anthony Joshua, taking his second career loss to Alexander Usyk, the former cruiserweight champion who moved up and defeated Joshua in his third heavyweight bout. And it was, to me, apparent through the first couple of rounds that this dude was extremely different and different from anyone that Joshua has seen before in his career. As good as Joshua is, Usyk provided a challenge that not many heavyweights could provide, at least not many heavyweights in the last, let's say 10, 15 years, outside of possibly Tyson Fury, with the level of footwork from the southpaw position and how he consistently confounded and struck Anthony Joshua throughout the fight. In the previous fight, Usyk used his footwork to get his lead foot on the outside of Joshua's foot very consistently, throwing a jab, wrangling with a right hook, and coming down the pipe with a straight left. And a lot of the times it really shook Joshua up and was close to knocking him down. If I'm not mistaken, he did knock him down. I cannot remember.
I don't think he knocked him down, but he hurt him a few times late in the fight. No, I think he might have knocked him down. Let me look at that real quick. I think he might have gone down. But to go into what you were saying about the fight itself, Usyk did a really good job with a lot of feints. He used great head movement, good level changes. It was really a great technical boxing performance from Usyk. And let me see. No, it doesn't say he went down.
Okay.
Yeah.
But neither here nor there. He did hurt him. He did stagger him quite a bit.
Yeah, he definitely did. He had him on Queer Street a couple times. He had a map though.
And considering, if I'm not mistaken, he trains with Lomachenko's father. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, he does.
But you know that very fluid movement from the southpaw style is very important to the training regimen and being in the ring with a guy like Usyk, a guy who hits hard, even for a heavyweight coming up from cruiserweight. It seems like his power carried pretty well. And considering that he lands very accurately, that's a dangerous combination.
Yeah.
Even against a bigger guy.
Yeah. So one of the things that really, kind of was a knock on Joshua was that he didn't have much of a chin to begin with. So when you have a guy that's very accurate, has a good amount of pop, like Usyk, that's where we get those moments where he's stunning them and hurting them. On top of, him befuddling him with the movement, with the level changes, with the angles, the head movement, all of those things put together made for a long night for Joshua. But in between that fight and this fight, we've had some changes. Anthony Joshua now has a new trainer in Robert Garcia. Usyk joined the military and went to war, like real war, not like kind of like how Captain America did when he joined the military. He kind of just walked around and waved his hand and was doing the little dog and pony shows until movie stuff. more like Joe Louis when he joined the military. Let's put it like, in more realistic terms. He was in the military, but all he really did was make appearances and, you know, boost morale for the troops. Usyk was fitted with gear and shoveled out into the war zone, and thankfully he came back. His family said, "Hey, you got a boxing career. You need to focus on that. You can use your boxing career to spur on the troops, and that's what you need to do." So he's got his whole country on his back. I think he is footing the bill for his country to see this fight, however that's going to happen, during all the turmoil that's going on in his home country, Ukraine. Do you think that that's going to play a mental factor into this fight?
Yes, and I think it's going to be a double-edged sword, so to say, because he's that pride is going to be there, knowing that he's beat Joshua before. He can go in there with some confidence and look to really inspire his countrymen to really continue the fight going on. Per rules of YouTube, we have to be cool on how we discuss this because there are YouTube standards that we don't want to violate. But in continuing the discussion, he's going to have the pride. He's going to be coming out to look to do something. While he wanted to be there and be on the front lines in support of those that are fighting and possibly fighting himself, his people knew that this is more important for their cause than anything else. So he'll be fighting with that sort of chip on his shoulder. Now, how much pressure that's going to present? Is it going to cloud his judgment during the fight, his decision making, or is he going to be very clear headed and no, I'm coming in here to do the job. I know what job needs to be done, and I'll put the turmoil that's going on in my homeland to the back burner.
Okay. Now, go ahead.
I was just going to say it just depends on how he approaches the fight. It's always going to be at the back of his mind, but I guarantee there are going to be a lot of Ukrainian people who may not live in Ukraine, who may have left Ukraine, who may be expats, because this is Saudi Arabia. This is still not that big of a plane ride away from Eastern Europe. That will probably be in attendance, cheering him on, just like there'll probably be a pretty big British contingent, because we know British fight fans love to travel.
Yeah, so the crowd is going to be bananas. Now, as far as tools to win, Usyk has really shown everything he needs to do. All he needs to do is pretty much do more of that and then be ready for the adjustments of Joshua. So what I think Joshua is going to need to do in order to win this fight, I think he's going to, one, have to vary his jab. He really only threw his jab at one speed the entire fight. He's going to have to vary that up. And also accompany some feints with that. He's got to, vary the speed on it. He can paw it a little bit, hook off of it. He can feint it to make Usyk exaggerate those movements or anticipate a counter or try to counter and bait him into landing a right hand or left hook, possibly even uppercuts. But he's got to get Usyk out of position because he was never out of position in that first fight. There was some times where Joshua did do some good work, and it was mainly when he started to kind of impose his size and just kind of come forward and start throwing punches. But for the most part, he tried to outbox Usyk, and that didn't work. This time, he's got to, use that size, use that power, and incorporate that intelligence in a more aggressive way. Also, I think, this goes without saying, he also needs to work the body. Like once he gets on the inside, like maybe employ a Tyson Fury-esque style where, he gets inside, uses his weight, works the body, and then separates and works long range. Will Usyk be ready for that, or does he think that he's going to get the same guy?
So in rewatching the first fight, I've noticed a couple of things from that fight, and it's funny that he's changed trainers because I'm um I'm wondering what Garcia or
Yeah, Robert Garcia.
Robert Garcia can bring to the table for him. One of the things that I noticed is that Joshua, there's this Joshua and there's pre Andy Ruiz Joshua. The Joshua that fought Klitschko was a savage. That's the guy who was destroying literally everyone, even a Hall of Fame boxer like Klitschko. And I'm talking about recovering from knockdowns and still bringing the fight. And ever since the Ruiz fight, we haven't seen that guy. Now, I don't know if it was I'm 260 to 70 pounds of pure muscle, and it really doesn't help me in a boxing match when there's a guy who can weather my punching and deliver fast flurries with really good momentum and really good power in Ruiz. And then I made him a little skittish to go back to the drawing board and let me fall back on what not only what got me here, but I'm also a boxer. A guy like this is dangerous because he can reel off those combinations. Well, I've noticed taking off 20 pounds of muscle, even for a heavyweight, we're not talking about Roy Jones going from 201 back down to 175. He's still a heavyweight, but the muscle loss is still a thing that I don't know if his body has really either gotten used to or recovered from. Because he was 240 for the first fight. He's 244 for this fight, which means he's a little bit heavier. Maybe he feels a little bit better with those 4 pounds. Like you said, he really didn't throw anything off speed or full speed with the jab. He has an 82-inch reach. He should be the one controlling the distance at all times. He wants to catch Usyk at the end of that big right hand after a jab. And like you said, he really needs to go to the body. Take away one of the best things that Usyk has going for him, his footwork. He can't move if he can't lift his feet.
Yeah.
Also, because he's still a heavily muscled individual, I think he's very cognizant of measuring his stamina and conditioning throughout this fight. So that's why he really didn't change his speed or really push the issue consistently. In
Gotcha.
the in the first 3 to 4 rounds, you could see that movement really giving Joshua problems. But from I would say the fourth or fifth round to maybe the seventh or eighth round, Usyk didn't move as much, and that's where Joshua did his best work.
Yeah.
When he is fighting a fighter who is a straight line and not a lateral mover, and I'm not talking about, I'm going to lateral like Arislandi Lara where he uses the whole ring. Just those simple, efficient, I'm over here, I'm going to throw some off speed, I'm going to feint to the inside, step out, right hook, left down, right hook, left down the middle. It's, okay, I'm going to settle because I need to conserve my own conditioning for the last 3, 4 rounds. And I noticed that. I think that's one of the knocks on Usyk, which he's still getting used to at being a full-fledged heavyweight. I noticed it when he fought Chisora. He was really pushed in that Chisora fight. That's a fight that he probably should have knocked Chisora out within 7 to 8 rounds, but it went the distance because Chisora could push him. Joshua probably needs to be more assertive and push the envelope. And he's going to take some fire. But if he could stick that jab out there, boom. Maybe break him, bury it up to the body, feint downstairs, feint upstairs, go downstairs, come with the overhand right. You can't wait for him to settle in front of you. Second, and I hope Garcia has done this because I think it's kind of a knock on a few of his fighters. I'm conditioning Joshua from the outset. He needs to be able to move and cut off the ring against Usyk for 12 rounds. He cannot continue to let him step around him.
Yeah.
And
Now,
under the belt,
oh, go
and
ahead.
with punching, because a lot of times Joshua would relegate himself to 2 punches at best. He would not throw a third punch that consistently because I guess
Yeah,
he's afraid of getting the return fire, which we know Usyk and his coach can throw in between punches. So at this point, you need to be able to go a full 12 rounds with high activity or at least 50 punches a round.
yeah. So who do you have winning?
It's going to go 12. I'm not sure if I like the pictures from the weigh-in. I don't know if that's just Anthony Joshua's demeanor, but I don't know if he looked lackadaisical or he just looked out of it or he was extremely relaxed. Whereas Usyk, and I really can't say much for the man's face, is that he looks like a psycho.
I'm telling you, they go find him with some bodies in the trunk one day.
Yeah, he has an intense energy about him that doesn't belie his boxing ability, but his demeanor is, I'll fight any and everyone right now. Whereas Josh was just like, I'm cool, I'm relaxed. I'm like,
Yeah,
man, you gotta like that's part of the thing, being at the
yeah,
weigh-in.
yeah. He's not showing he wants it.
Yeah, maybe it's just me. Maybe, and any of my British viewers can probably tell me that I'm seeing something. I'm not seeing what I should be seeing, or this is normal for him.
Yeah. So I'm going Usyk as well. I don't know if Joshua can make those adjustments and make them for 12 rounds. We know he did it against Ruiz. That was a completely different fighter. Ruiz came completely out of shape for that second fight. That's not happening with Usyk. Usyk is a smart fighter. He's a well-conditioned fighter. He's well schooled. So, if anything, he's gonna have the technique and he can coast off of that alone and do very well in this fight. So I'm thinking he takes it again. So, let us know what you all think. Hit us up in the comment section below. Tell us who you think's gonna win. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all three of those, Capital Combat. After the fight, we will do a recap. And also we have the UFC 278 Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards. I'm going to do a breakdown of that fight also. So if you haven't, subscribe to the channel so you can see that as well. And we look forward to seeing y'all in the next video. Till then, fight on.
This is round one and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming and cost. My fists are on fire. I perform till I perspire. My demons are in a rage. Keep thinking that it's a game. I kick rhyme, hurricane. I told them I don't play. I'm liquid.
Black Street Fighter.